Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason with Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend JoAnne Palladino. Hi, JoAnne.
Hello, my dear. Good to be
Wow,
with you. Good to
it's
be
so
with you.
great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
So JoAnne and I have known each other probably over 10 years now,
At
and I
least.
have been
Yeah.
very blessed by JoAnne's capacity to assist others through her connection to a larger field of energy, source energy, and the field of love. And so, JoAnne, why don't we? The first time I met you through your husband. He brought
Yeah.
you to my office back, what, I don't know,
Yeah, I was going
10
to
years
say
ago.
I bet it's a good 15-ish.
Oh, well, we're not that
Our
old.
this time thing, it just,
Yeah.
happens.
Well, anyway, so this is the reason why I'm so excited to introduce JoAnne to any of you that do not know her is that I can say that I've vetted this work and I recommend it. The work that you'll find is a way for you to connect to your higher knowing and enable you and empower you to live a more joyful life. Suffering is optional. So, so JoAnne, why don't we talk about, for the people that are just meeting you, how you got started? Because I know you were in the medical industry, you were
Mm.
in a hospital. Could you share a little bit about the origins of all of this?
Yeah. I have to go back in the memory banks because it seems like a lifetime ago. Um, the journey really started, it was unexpected. This was not something that I wanted to do. Many people feel connected with spirit at a very young age. That was not me at all. And the setting that I was in was corporate marketing and sales for a national healthcare company. So I was in corporate office. The responsibility was to really support sales and marketing efforts for the Northeast for this particular company. So the stress was ramped up. And at the same time, I really enjoyed what I was doing. And then it was the late 90s is when I describe it as the universe pulled the rug from underneath me. And literally that's how it felt. So much so that it affected my whole being. And I had to be out of work for 4 months. I couldn't eat, sleep, talk, be with anybody. And I see that as it was my first awakening. It was a catalyst for my soul to be in alignment, or this human form to be in alignment for purpose. And that's when it started. So it was the late 90s. And from that point, and I did go back to corporate, but what ended up happening was I was sitting in these meetings that I walked away with a lot of responsibility, but I walked away going, what did they say? What do I need to do here? Because what was happening is my soul, there wasn't an alignment, an energetic alignment anymore. So I chose to leave. So I left a successful position, 6 figures, to say bye bye, see you later. And what was I going to do? I had no idea. And I ended up taking a year off. But in that year, again, what began to happen was I was introduced to holistic medicine. I was introduced to energy work. This was all very foreign to me. So I've been um, in the capacity, in the form to support people on their journey. And, through the years, the foundation of when I work with souls, whether they're national, international, doesn't matter. The foundation is for complete and unconditional love and self-acceptance. And at times, like when I say that, I do get choked up because it is so foundational for this time on the planet, for the quickening and the awakening that is taking place. And if that's not in there, look what's happening. look what's been happening in the world and continues to happen. So I feel that's like the pearl, the gem in the pocket for people to begin to engage in life deeper, because some people are definitely in that state, or really just exploring that. That it's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. I am worthy to receive. And that is part of complete and unconditional love and self-acceptance. So, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I think there's a lot of people that are questioning their occupation and not knowing if it's in alignment to what their genius is or their gifts, whether it's conscious or unconscious. But the frequencies are waking up a lot of people right now. And do you agree that people don't need to have near-death experiences, these huge disorienting awakenings now to follow the path that you're on?
Well, what I'm finding, and this is kind of a general response to that, but again, I feel like it's a root to it, that what we felt was true in the past has become the old paradigm. And you no longer need to go through the trenches to awaken. And I use that word like what does that mean? And it's really about realizing the truth of who you are and a state of being. So what has been happening, and we're hearing about it more and more, people are having instantaneous awakenings. It's like they go to bed one way and wake up, like, look in the mirror and go, oh, that's who I am. That realization. So, and the story that I told about myself is very common in the Lightworker, Wayshower community throughout the world. And some of the experiences has been death in various ways. I feel like I have died numerous ways, my like the death of the ego, not that the ego is bad. The ego is part of humanness, but it's not having the ego run our show any longer. And it's spirit, soul, divinity, God, that's how you're guided. So it's an old paradigm for me. When I hear things, it's like, no, that's not really true. It might have been true 2 years ago. It's kind of interesting from 24 to 25, like January 1st hit, and it became like the world became a different energetic, for sure. So especially this year, it has been a forcing catalyst for people to wake up, whether they realize it or not. And yes, there could be pain in it. And it doesn't have to be, but we're waking up in our own way. There isn't one way, in the way. So,
Well, I think the idea of resisting pain is part of the thing that's falling away, because the resistance to experiencing re-experiencing an emotion actually holds it in place. And if you just go through the experience, it dissipates, and by releasing that block, if you want to call it that, you're able to bring in more of your own light. Do you have any experiences that you could share about that? About maybe
Oh
clients?
my, I have many. So I look at resistance as a gem. Resistance is a catalyst for great change. It is a teacher for us. I don't look at resistance again as good or bad. That's dualistic. But it's an opportunity for us. It is based in fear. It's based in the human personality and ego. It's based in human existence. The phrase, what you resist will persist. Like, how old is that? Well, that's still true, you know? So, how I see resistance and how I work with it within myself, I mean, and the things I'm sharing, I practice, I kind of live the life that I walk and I talk, but I see resistance here. Here is a source of pain, a trigger, an annoyance, whatever it might be. And resistance meets it. And it begins, this is what happens. There's a push and pull. So if something is continuing to happen and it doesn't change, it will continue to happen. Einstein, it's like, so whatever's broken, if you try to fix it with the same consciousness, it's not going to change. You have to shift your consciousness. So how I work with resistance is you begin to soften it. And you begin to soften the resistance, which allows the discomfort, the trigger to soften because it's not against each other anymore. A softness is meeting it. Now, resistance does its thing. So there needs to be another aspect of you. And that's where the heart comes into play. Just the word softness or resting into that I don't want this. And today was a great example for me. I read something from someone and I felt like, oh, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And many people's pattern is to immediately respond to it, react to it. But what I did today was I just sat with it. and I let the discomfort, because people don't want to feel discomfort. They don't want to feel pain. They don't want to feel sadness. They don't want to feel angry. They don't want to feel lonely. So we go up against it. We fight, flight, or freeze. It's fear. And there was this beautiful message that came through, didn't come through the intellect. It really came through a state of me being in softness and giving it space. So when you have to have a willingness to do this. I mean, that's kind of the first step. And when you have that willingness and begin to look at it and view it, kind of observe it and not be in it, it's easier to invite that softness, that resting, and it begins to give it space and it loses its charge. So resistance is like a little gem. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, the Borg said resistance is futile.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that your way of mastery through acceptance and acting as an observer as your life is a whole different concept than most people are sharing. You, because of your work that you've done, and we could talk a little bit about some of your processes if you want. You allow people to lovingly experience these blocks, is what I want to call them. Their emotional memories, could be this life or past lives. It's in your DNA somewhere. and
Mm-hmm.
nurture them so that they're masters of their own experience. Could
Mm-hmm.
you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you teach the way of mastery
Mm.
as well. And that whole concept of personal empowerment through choosing what has a vibrant energy, clearing the low energies and choosing a more fulfilling energy is part of your process.
Yeah. Um, well, again, that's kind of foundational of when I work with others. And again, that's how my life has been. And there's a teaching in the Way of Mastery. It's a channeled book. It was channeled, I believe, in the 90s. And it's the voice of Yeshua. That's the voice. And it's lessons. It's 36 lessons. I've been a student of it for 15-ish or more years. I'm still a student, and this is it's woven into when I work with other souls. And there's three axioms in the beginning. And the first one is nothing I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Now, when I read that 15 years ago, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh yeah, I get that. And the intellect gets it. It's like, that sounds really good. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But then you begin to actually practice what those words are saying. And I feel the gems in this is it takes you out of victimization. Because if you always are pointing outward and blaming, it's daddy's fault, it's mommy's fault, it was my teacher's fault, it was everybody's fault. That is, that's really the victim perpetrator dynamic. But when I began to practice it, nothing I experience is caused by anything outside of me. It allowed me to view my life as the master observer. I mean, that's kind of, not that I'm a master, but that's kind of where I am. I go, whoop, I pull myself out of what's going on planet Earth. And I begin to observe outward, just kind of viewing, but where my true attention is here, is what's the energy that I'm feeling in my body? Where in my body? How old is that judgment that I've been pointing my fingers to? Where is the root or the root cause or the incident that got me to point outward, if you will? So that has really allowed me to deepen my self inquiry. And that's how I work with precious souls. Like, you begin to have more intimate conversations with yourself, and they might not be comfortable either, and not to resist the discomfort. So there's it's kind of like layers and veils that keep us blinded from the truth of who we are. That's really one of the teachings that is pretty core. And the other two are not, well, nothing I experience is caused by anything outside of me. I need do nothing. Not that I want to sit on the couch and do nothing, but again, it keeps you from that reaction. I need do nothing. All right, this is disturbing me. I get that. Let me pull away and let me see what's going on here. And it allows you, I call it the sacred pause. It allows you to kind of sit in stillness with yourself, or it might not be stillness. You might want to yell, and that's okay too, you know. But it begins again to peel away the egoic. The word that's coming up is trauma. The egoic trauma that's yours, mine, and ours. It's everywhere, So it's interesting. So I need do nothing. Oh, and all events are neutral. I love that one. How can you say what's going on these days is a neutral event? That's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the posture of being the master observer, you really get to choose how you want to engage. Do you want to engage in a conscious, higher level of awareness and awakeness, or the old paradigm of, pointing fingers and blaming? It's them. And really, I mean, how I see it is what's going on now is a reflection of the energy of humanity.
Right.
It's still here. So
Right. And hopefully we're seeing it so we can clear it within ourselves. So global consciousness is not producing wars anymore. And
yeah,
that.
well, I mean, it's a tremendous teacher. Talk about, you want a spiritual teacher? Just look around you.
You're right, right. Well, the other thing you mentioned, a quote from Einstein, I'm going to probably mess up his quote, but he said something about how do you envision your environment? Do you envision your environment as a safe, loving space or a dangerous place? So
Right.
there's two worldviews. And if you feel unsafe and always living in that vibration, that's part of your creation model. That's your fundamental backdrop for your play. Versus if, even if you are triggered, if you see that everything is for your highest growth, knowing, and good grace into the world, then you're able to look at whatever the trigger is and take responsibility and work on yourself for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great quote. I don't know if you got it right either,
I can,
but I got
I'll
it.
find it.
um, the phrase that I'm hearing is to clean up your house first. I don't know if somebody might have said that, it might have been roomy, like sweep your house clean, sweet, and the house that we speak about is your inner house. And there was a quote, and I'm not quite sure who it was, and it was about a year or so ago, and it like I read it and I felt it, and it's very simple, and it says, and it makes me cry because well, anyway, there was it rang in a deep truth for me, and it was, where do I go when I have no place to go? And I sat with that, and what came to mind and what I saw was what is going on in the world. There are so many people that are riddled in fear, in uncertainty, in the unknown, um, and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. What do I say? It's making me crazy, depressed, riddled in deep sadness. I mean, it's all over the place. So I took that, where do I go when there's no place to go, or I have no place to go? This is to cultivate. This is inward. This is really what is going on here. I mean, the ascended masters have spoken about it. The enlightened teachers of the world, one day I'll be one of them. The enlightened teachers of the world, that's Yeshua, Buddha, they all pointed here. They all pointed within oneself. And that's I'm going to use the word refuge, but that's our that where we could feel safe from the horror of what's taking place. But there needs to be a willingness to do that and no longer be distracted, no longer be um, triggered from the outside movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this might be a good segue of sitting as Christ.
Right.
Sitting
That
as
was what I was
Christ.
going to bring up next is
Yeah.
sitting as Christ to live as Christ. I mean,
Yeah.
that so before we go to that, can you
Yeah.
tell them a little bit about, okay, so when we met, you were starting to do light language without having any control. You
Not
were
knowing what was going on.
business meetings at
Yeah.
a hospital and you started speaking light language. And then and you were blessed where there it was so much grace and so much love pouring through you in that time period. Now you've stabilized it, I want to say, or matured with it, or there's something about the groundedness of that level of frequency in your field now, that now you've gone to not only Shemaya, the beings of light coming through, but now as well Christ.
Yeah. Um, well, it again, that was like a trip for me because the light language, it was spontaneous. It started in 2011, so before 2012, like went ding, I'm here, you know. So I thought I was a crazy person. I didn't know what was going on. Energetically, the energy that was coming through did a job on this form. You know, really, it knocked me out. It took me over. I was fortunate to find people. Judy Satori was one of them that I spent a week with her, with a group of people, having a better understanding of this frequency that is coming through us. And again, we all have spoken light language in some lifetime, you know, and for me, it has now come through. And I understood it better and I was able to, because someone told me, JoAnne, you're in charge. And I was like, really? I'm in charge? Because it used to come through in the grocery store, having dinner out in the 2 o'clock in the morning. It just happened. Um, so a level of understanding of the energetic that they're used, it was, I was the conduit, you know. And yes, a maturity, I don't know what you call it, but you know, the spiritual growth, the understanding of oneself, the realization I'm more than this body, you know. And what I have found, and again, it just came through me. It's like, oh, this is the voice of God. Well, we're all the voice of God, you know. So that's how I see this. It's an expression of divinity, my original voice, perhaps. Um, and it's me, it's part of me, it is, you know, it is. So perhaps if we have time today, a transmission could come through.
Oh, I hope so.
And when it, you know, when the transmission comes through, I just invite people to not figure out what's being said because sometimes I interpret, sometimes I don't. But it, again, it's the level of the frequency, the vibration of that that's being transmitted, and just receive it through the heart and not be in the mind to go, what? And I'm sure people who are listening or watching, at a later time or whenever, they are familiar with light language, and it's different for everyone. It's really different for
Well,
everyone.
I have to wonder about all the people waking up now, because there's all these star seeds and the, the different generations of light workers that are waking up right now. I know I am waking up almost every morning saying something light language. It's not always the same. It could be, and I just say it and then I'm done. I have no idea. There wasn't any emotion with it. It's like I'm talking to a friend and I'm in my dream. And as I'm waking up, I'm finishing the
Yeah.
conversation. And I wonder if that's part of the awakening that's happening right now, as we're clearing and cleaning and shifting frequencies to the new human, hopefully, the more enlightened human and grace filled
Yeah.
human.
Ease and grace.
Ease and grace,
Ease
yeah,
and grace.
love and grace. So, do you have any insights on that? About there's so many people waking up, and their first step that I'm seeing is they're empathic. They become sensitives and empathic. And then, are you seeing anything in what you're doing about
It's
that?
yeah, I mean, it's all over the place.
Is it?
It's everywhere. And again, I feel that the state that the planet is on, um, where soon disclosure, open contact is going to be happening. The energies that are coming into Earth, Mother Earth is actually shifting, humanity is shifting, the veils are getting thinner, and we have more access to really what's always been there. You could only see what you could see. The Indians couldn't see Columbus's ship. They couldn't see. The level of consciousness wasn't there. So that is expanding on this planet, and we're in it. We're actually in it. So light language is one of those aspects. I mean, I see it in children's eyes, these babies that are being born, and I just look at their eyes and I'm like, all right, they're awake. And how's mommy and daddy? Are they awake to, like, at least on that track to keep, because if not, then, the sleep will happen, but the opportunities are there and they're quickening. So light language is definitely part of that thread,
Yeah,
without a
yeah.
doubt. Without a
So,
doubt.
and I want to ask one more question about light language before we go to sitting as Christ, to live as Christ. Um, what is your sense about written light language? I'm from you. I haven't really seen you write it, but I bet you do. Could you talk a little bit about the frequency? Because when I see written light language, I know what it says almost, or sense it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Me too.
That gift hasn't appeared in this form.
Oh,
It is more of the transmissions is really what has been exposed at this point, but who knows? I know many people who channel the I'm gonna call it like a vibrational symbol. And it's not necessarily words. We could put words to it. I mean, like even the language, it's like, oh, this is the interpretation. But I see with this level of frequency and other things, it's like it's really hard to put words to it. But we do our best to put the human touch to it to say, oh, it means this. But it's really what it's transmitting is from the image itself, the form itself. And it's sending a message, it's telling a story, it's providing conversation. And our intellect, which is a really good thing to know, our intellect is not going to get it. This is not on an intellectual platform. It's the heart, expansive, God consciousness, Christ consciousness, awareness
Beautiful.
that it's taken in. So that's how
And if you look at ancient Aramaic and some of the ancient languages, there almost is part of the light language
yeah,
vocabulary, I guess you'd use,
yeah,
or
yeah.
alphabet. But I know that I love it. I love the light language in sound, and
Yes.
my ego doesn't get in the way. It just sort of goes wonderful. And then I love the design of the. I have a painting over here that was done by a woman named Cynthia March, that is a representation of a fifth dimensional object moving, and she has a little bit of light language on the front of it. And when I got it from her, I said, I dreamt that you're supposed to write 3 lines of light language on the back of this. And she just sat right down and went into state and did that.
Did it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have no idea what it says. It feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I mean, it is, I mean, it's channeled, the light language channel. It's like, oh, let me speak like, no, I just tap in, you know, and that's how it happens. So there's a level of knowing that it is not egoic driven,
right.
you know.
Well,
I have clothing.
surrendering.
Yeah, and I have clothing with light language. I gave someone a garment to
Oh,
say, you know, create something for me.
oh,
So that's another thing that I see, and again, not that I'm, you know, going to do this myself, but that our garments are going to have, and they're out there already. You know, it's not necessarily a new idea, you know. So it's
well,
beautiful.
well,
It's beautiful.
so the vibration is in the field, whether or not people recognize it, but more and more people seem to be recognizing it and taking it to heart about how they can be love in action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about the work that you're doing and have been doing, is it is love in action. It's not just the people that go to their cave and sit on their zafu and have people wait on them. Those days were probably fantastic, although they didn't have indoor plumbing. So, but
or air conditioning or any of that. Close the window. There are no
thank
windows.
you. But anyway, but what we're seeing now is so many different ways for people to work on creating a reality that they prefer, rather than staying in the chaos that's causing suffering.
Yeah, I'm inviting people to have a smidgen of the willingness to open a door to actually not have opinions. You know, it's, and you know, just to kind of listen and to hear like, oh, that sounds really weird. Oh, okay, and it probably will. But if there's this willingness to open the door, open the heart, and just listen, that will give people more of an opportunity to see, And I'm not using, like to actually see beyond what they're seeing, because that's kind of my practice. I want to see beyond what I see, and then see beyond that, and then see beyond that. And it's level of consciousness. So if someone is closed to ETs, say, our friends that have been here for who knows, we might be one, you might be, I don't know. They're around.
Definitely one.
They're our neighbors. That based on their level of consciousness, they won't be able to see, like the Indians. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up today. That's a good example, though. They couldn't see the ship, so dropping the guard, not being resistant, the allowance to open. The word that's coming up that I'm seeing is invite some freedom in with all of this. And then the seeing and hearing light language, or the writing, the script of light language, then they'll start feeling it better. And I'm going to add one more thing. An experience is one thing, but to embody it is really where the shift begins to happen. That to me is the tipping point. I had this great experience. Great. What now? What? So, and the body, I mean, if you invite it into the cells, like allow the cells to resonate with the vibration of love, the vibration of Christ, the vibration of light language,
That's
whatever it
beautiful.
might be.
That's beautiful. So when we're talking about all of this, we have mentioned the path to the heart, but all of this is heart work that you're really inviting people to experience, right?
Yes.
Could you talk just a little bit before we do light language, I hope, something about that opening and the benefit of it, the opening of the heart, or the path, the way of mastery path to the heart?
Yeah. So I am going to bring in sitting as Christ here, because to me, this is a way to reside in the heart space in a different way. And again, there's a lot of words we could put to this. And sitting as Christ, a friend of mine asked me, well, what's that mean? Like what's that mean? And I was, again, I tend to be with the question, and it's like, oh, it's a state of being. It's a state of existence. It's non-dualistic. It is unitive consciousness, And so that is felt. So talking about the heart, talking about love, and love, it's on such a spectrum, when I love my shoes. That's one way to love, you know. But this is the love that I don't have words for. I don't have words for it. But we could feel it. We could tap into it. And the heart, when you open that doorway, the sacred heart, it's pure compassion and wisdom. It sees everything perfect, even what's going on. It's neutrality. It's just pure neutrality. So that's where we're going to wake up in the way of mastery. It's I don't remember the exact quote of Yeshua, but this is not the way of the intellect. It's the way of the heart is really what is said. So is it okay if I start sharing sitting? Okay, because because I feel there's a level of, I'm going to use the word importance, to really help people live on this planet right now in a way and in a state that they actually have inner peace in the midst of everything falling apart, being dismantled, bulldozing. What was true, forget about it. And it's like I see what's going on. It's painful, and the suffering. I don't know. I really don't know what that is, but it's purposeful because we can't stay with the same foundations that really haven't been working and has built on a level of consciousness. So earlier this year, I was in meditation, and I invited Yeshua to come on board. Will you join me? Sit with me for a while. Sitting in stillness, and I heard, hold gatherings, sitting as Christ. Now, I've heard that before through the Way of Mastery, because I think in lesson 5, I'm not quite 5 or 6, he talks about sitting as Christ for 5 minutes a day. So it wasn't like, oh my God, but I was like, oh yeah, gee, I've been with that and can't say I've practiced it every day. So I sat with it, and so I am gonna read something to you because it felt right. It felt yes, but I didn't know what does that, like, oh, what does that look like me? That it was all here. It was all here. So I sat, and I asked Yeshua, give me guidance. Now, I am not going to say these are Yeshua's words, but they're not mine. They're from the higher source. And I'll read them to you. I'll read them to everyone. Dear ones, I am with you always. Your uncertainty, doubt, not worthy to receive me, will not hinder my presence with you. You and all of your humanity are in a time of rebirth, resurrection, of remembering the source of who you are. I am your brother. I am your friend. I walk beside you, living the way to show you the way. It only takes a pinch of willingness to begin to continue to deepen the awakening of the Christ in you that is waiting to be realized during this lifetime. You, like me and many other ascended beings, are the sacred cup, the chalice, the source to walk as I walked on this earth thousands of years ago. So let us commune together, surrendering and resting in the arms of God. Your devotion, this pinch of willingness to awaken the Christ within, is being called upon now. Walking on this earth, but not of this earth, will rise all of humanity, a significant consciousness shift for all to be the second coming of Christ in the here and now. It is so, it is so, it is so, and it is done. La alam, amin, amen. So that is how I call them sacred gatherings, was birthed. And every Wednesday, Mountain Time, 5:00 on Zoom. And the majority of the time is sitting as Christ. We called Yeshua in the communing as a collective, but then everyone invites Yeshua into their own space. But in the beginning, there's usually I sit with, what do we point to today, or this week? So I come in with a teaching, a realization for a period of time. People have an opportunity to share, and then we commune together and cultivate that space within us. And I would like to read one more thing. And again, I had Yeshua like, all right. So I sat in stillness, like what to kind of condense what it is that we're our sacred gatherings. And this is what I received. We gather to cultivate holy space within ourselves and throughout the field of existence. Rest, dear ones, with sitting as Christ. Reside in this state with a softness, melting away the veils that keep us separate. That's why we gather. So what I like I'm in tune with, we're not only cultivating that within ourselves, but by doing that, we are extending it out into humanity to raise the tide of consciousness, So when people say, where do I go when I have no place to go? What do I do? This is an option. This is a possibility. This is an opportunity. I have no words.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the path to oneness too, because once you're sitting in that place, you see everyone, even in their physicalness, as also you, as the one, as the divine.
Yeah, and to embody that as the truth. We have read, we have talked, we have listened. Have we truly embodied that? And many have. And
Yes.
and there's a lot more manys that haven't.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity and an offering.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you so much. And the idea of allowing yourself to experience the divine part of you is everyone's gift that they can give themselves. Mm-hmm. It's self-love, it's self-appreciation, and it's part of, I believe, our evolutionary push right now.
Yeah, like, why are we here? It's like, what's my purpose? I for me, it's soul evolution and embodying. It's like actually a remembering.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a remembering of the spark.
Right. And allowing yourself to see yourself as the gift of that and enjoy it. Not be frightened of it, not distrust it, just surrender into it.
It's a smidgen of willingness.
Yes.
To actually invite that in and not resist that. Again, there's layers to it, and then there doesn't have to be layers.
Yeah. And the thing is we don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
If we're in joyous reunion. Mm-hmm. That's why I called it surrender, because to me, you don't try to figure it out. You let your heart guide you. So
it's trusting in God. I always like cringe when I hear let go and let God. And I always like, yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let go and let God.
Ty Clements used to always say, "It's a God job. It's a God job," and everything is.
Yeah, it all is. It all is, and how we use that free will that's our humanness, I guess.
Yes, it's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. So I'd love to. We have about 5 more minutes. If you wouldn't mind sharing a little light language from Shemaya, if that's a possibility, so people could sense that energy, if you're comfortable.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a way of life these days. So yeah, I'm just going to tap in here and really inviting everyone, to rest and soften. And you can use the breath as a guide to do that. You could close your eyes, soft gaze, whatever feels right. Actually being aware of your surroundings, the temperature, any fragrances in the room, any noise. Just be the observer and resting. O komanti sarapiano tokolo. Amata o soya toba la miana taki. Isi itinama oko ato shomia nedila. Misini ito ala panakisi. Odo umalane e badala tu. Isimiana dakala apiate si. Bakana odolo. Imene e la latinaka. Mata karo sho o mani iki. Isira piana dakala olo o sol piana tekira takara paranyasha. Ishi eshiamayan to kolalia tapapalata. Akaya poko suriti soro panyana teki ila. Allah alamia tatata. Isha ala mi karatana. Allah, Allah, Allah. Na Allah, Amen. Amen. And love, love, everyone. And we are complete.
Thank you. That was perfect. So everyone, there will be a way to connect with JoAnne in the description. And also you're going to see her URL on this recording. So please want you to go to her site and find out how you can experience more of this beautiful work. You deserve it. And the world's awaiting your genius and your whole system to unfold. Right?
Amen, sister. Yeah, love, love, everyone. I am grateful, Kathy, and I am here. I am here.
Well, bless you. Thank you for this beautiful work.
You're welcome.
Thank
love,
you.
love, everyone. Be well.